Good morning, guys. Okay, guys. So after doing the steering column and the brake pedals and all that stuff, I think it's time to move on to the rack. So first of all, this is a TRZ. I explained it in a couple other videos, but I'll go a little bit more in depth. So this is a TRZ motoring manual rack for an S10. So it has Heim joints on the ends, and it also came with the bump steer kit. Now, what I'm understanding how the bump steer works is like if you get up in the front like that, the wheels or the tires without the bump steer kit getting up will cause the wheels to go out, right? As this travels up and down with the A-arm, it won't be right. So it'll go like that. Both sides will kind of go like this. And when you land or when you come back down on the ground, these are made for drag racing, right? That's why bump steer is so important for that. Without the bump steer kit, you have a tendency of your tires going hit. When you hit the ground, they want to go this way. So it can be all over the place. But now, I have never installed this. I'm really looking at this going, really? All right. So I had to take it off. Mike came over and he kind of, a couple weeks ago, kind of set it up in there got this in the middle. So you spin the shaft one way and then you count how many goes the other way. And then you divide that in half and that'll put your rack in the center. And I marked it. So I know right here and right back there is centered. So I know the rack centered. And then with the with the tie rod ends, this replaces the tie rod end right here. And what this does, what you have to do is you have to drill out your tie rod end or your spindles to a 1/2 inch, it's basically a 1/2 inch, but since the tie rod end would normally be tapered, it's a little tapered in there. So you just run it through and then that comes in. But I had to take this off because I have to clean up all the metal on that cross member right here. Let me go set this down. So I have to clean up all the metal in there because this is how it attaches. So this is on one side. It kind of goes in there right there and it clamps down to the rack. And then this side is the bolt side, which this would normally get welded to the frame. And then this end right here, you trim down and you weld that to the frame. And then this holds the rack and this holds the rack. And the normal application. So this bracket right here will work. I just have to cut it down, match the contour of the crossover or cross member, and that'll weld to this. This one, on the other hand, where the bolt holes are, this is totally different from what I'm doing because normally it would be flat, but I'm rotating the whole rack up so my steering angle is better for my application. And that's the whole reason why I got this rack. And that's where we're kind of at right now. So as you can see in there, I started grinding or cleaning off all the metal right there. The racer guys, they usually remove this. I am not going to remove this. I'm just going to notch it out. It's going to be hard here. I'm just going to notch it out right here. The rack doesn't hit it, but I like a little bit more. It's like 1/4 of an inch from hitting it from where I think it's supposed to be. So I'm just going to kind of notch it out, clean up that whole area, and then maybe weld in. I still have some of that exhaust tubing. Maybe just weld in a piece of exhaust tubing in there just to kind of make it look nicer. So I'm going to set up the camera as best I can on this one because I am up underneath. And this is about as tall as this will go without hitting the top of the lift. So yeah. And with my travel, just to give you an idea, these were just on here. These are 3-inch spacers. These were just on here. I haven't taken them off yet for figuring out my wheel width and all that stuff. Yeah. So anyway, we'll put you kind of in here somewhere. And then what we'll do is we'll just kind of start cutting that little notch out of that underpiece, cutting the notch out of this underpiece right here. And then we'll put the rack back in, and then we will see what we need to do. As you can see, I don't sound too confident about this due to the fact that I've never done it. And the instructions specifically state, once you get the rack in the position that you want, weld the tabs and reverse engineer it. But it doesn't give you any measurements. So roughly eyeballing it, those tie rod ends are set for an alignment, so to speak, but it's real close. And then there's a lot of adjustments coming out on the ends to get it in perfect, right? But best way to do this is just tackle it. Just go for it and just start doing it. So let me see if I can get my magnetic thing and set you up in there somewhere where you can see a little bit better than just out here, or just looking at my lovely panel that I made. So yeah, let's get into this. All right, guys, so I welded that piece in and I just kind of cleaned it up. I took about 5 minutes actually to clean it all up, and let me show you how it looks. So there it is. Not too bad. The angle was hard to get in there, but we are all set right here. Fully welded all the way around. You saw that. It did not look pretty at all, but that's okay. Anyway, so now let's put this back up in the air, get the rack somewhat situated where I want it, and then we will start tackling the mounts off the back to hold the rack in place. Sounds pretty simple. So I'm kind of recording this the best I can, but so let's put this, we're going to set this up here. That's about all I know for sure. And then we'll put this up. So the rack is actually in the center of its travel. And yeah, okay. And the tie rod ends are roughly where they're supposed to be. So I am not setting bump steer quite yet. I just want the rack in the center. And then once we get a full load on the suspension, then we can set these little washer guys, right? Actually, that's so there we go. Okay. So now it's just a whole little game here. So I kind of need it. I'm kind of shooting for right about there-ish. So let me, so let's just see here. So I'm going to take this rod and I'm going to kind of bend it a little bit. And then I'm going to cut it right here, just to kind of give me an idea. So we will go up in here like that. unfortunately. We'll have to go down and then up like that. Yep. So now, let me show you. So what we're doing is we're getting a pretty good baseline here. Obviously that's too sharp up above, but at least it puts me in line. So when the other double U-joint is in, it'll give me a good idea, but I can use this pole for reference, right? So just kind of hang out for a minute and let me move some things around. Okay guys, so I put the actual double D on it, 3/4 inch, and right about there I'm clearing everything. Mind you, I'm clearing by, well actually I could probably move it right about there. Yeah, and it still has no worries. So I can clear it by about 3/16 to 1/4 from that post. So it would be right about there. So I'm not sure. I think I should wait for the W joint that goes up there. I mean, I can actually, the steering shaft, hold on here, let me swap you back around. So that steering shaft right there, I can actually take a little bit off the end and move it back up probably another 1/2 inch. Yeah, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So it'll actually take that entire unit and slide it back to give me more clearance here. Right there. So I don't know. I don't know if I should lock in the rack where it's at after I get it level, kind of like the angle here, or if I should wait. Sometimes patience is a virtue, right? All right, let me think about this for a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the rack 0, and then to make it level. So this side has to go down. Nope, wrong way. This side has to go down. Almost. Oh, too much. This is tougher than it looks, guys. I think that's it, guys. Let me move you here this way. Let me kind of get you in here. There you go. So right there is 0. Oh, let me make sure that that is still in the center. We're still in the center there. That'll definitely make that. Well, I say we kind of lock that in. I don't know. All right, let me get this one piece here. This guy. Yeah. Well, I know I'm 0. So we'll take that off. See, normally they would use the center hole as a hold right here. Boop, like that. But I think I want to go just a little bit over there. So it's about trying to get this right here right on here. Yeah. So if it goes like that, so let's cut this down against my better judgment. Let's hook this on. Oh my God, that's... No, right. I had it. Don't be messing with me. Right there. Yep, okay, so let's tighten that. Okay. So that's sturdy there. And I think this will be great. All right, guys, we are sitting at 0 on our rack. And I just threw a tack right there just to hold it. And then I put a tack on the other side to just kind of hold the rack in place. And there it is. All right, let me take a break for a second, grab something to eat, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I do have it down on its own weight. So let me show you how this is all arcing here before I make my secondary bracket, and I'll show you in a second. Okay. So right now I just have this tacked into place back there. And then as you can see, I rotated the rod pretty close where that needs to be. And then down below, you can see that the tie rod ends are running parallel, or the tie rod ends are running parallel with the control arms with full weight. So obviously with bump steer on this side, on either side, you can add these little washers to bring this down for more of a, to follow the contours of the steering or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Basically to get the steering right without bump steer. But that looks pretty darn good. So now I just have to make the bracket for here and then full weld in that little bracket back there, and we should be good to go. Okay guys, so yeah, like that. So this bracket goes in like that, so I've got to trim this side right here to weld up against the cross member. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So we'll be back in a minute. I mean, it's just setting it up there, tracing it, trimming it, putting it up there. So really boring stuff. So let me do this real quick, and then I'll be back once we get it into place. And then, yeah, then hopefully, then we'll full weld this all in if I got enough time today. Okay, so how I'm gonna do this is I cut this bracket. I'm gonna bolt that to that, and then I'm gonna section up another piece and then weld that all together. So it should make sense here in a second. So it's right here. So this is gonna bolt right up to here. I'm gonna bolt that there, and then I'm gonna take the other piece and bring it down into here, right? So I just gotta trim this a little bit more, and then we'll be right back. Like that. And then we'll put this one in. Make sure I can get to everything. Mm-hmm. Oh. So I am seeing an issue. And the issue is that this bolt back here for the lower control arm cannot be removed if I weld this bracket in. So, so it's like the whole rack needs to shift over just a little, just a little bit. So yeah, so this all has to go over that way. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So right now, I gotta drop the arms so I can shift the whole rack over just an inch. And I think I can make that up with these guys. You know, I'm gonna have to, because it does have to go over that way. Okay. Gotta do it. Okay. So now that bolt can come out as long as I take off the rack or just move it out of the way. But now I have full clearance from this bracket. Perfect. That's all I needed. And again, the only reason why I did that was to get that bolt out, right? Yeah. Okay. Let me adjust this. Ow. Adjust this one out. Well, it'll be okay. Considering I've never done this. Definitely gonna phone a friend. Actually, I sent pictures to Mike. Mike said it looked good with the weight on it. All right, so now let's just make sure this is rotated right. Right there, okay. Let me tighten that down. Right there. See, this rack can still rotate this way, and it can still kind of move around a little this way. So that's why you got to kind of be careful. I mean, this is a constant. This is tacked into place, and it took the full weight of the vehicle, but it's everything else. There we go. Let's tighten that down. There. So I know that that's pretty close. So it'll probably go down. Now I'm second guessing this side now. I think it'll be fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's good. Let's just make our bracket. All right, guys, so we got the piece all kind of trimmed up here to match the frame here. So we're gonna put that there, and then we're gonna weld a plate from here to here. Just to kind of, you know, keep everything all real nice. Nothing's wrong with a little bit of bracing, right? And then once this piece is in, let me get that right here. Then, fighting the camera, blah, 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 in a tight spot. Once this piece gets welded in, then it'll lock this in right where it's at. So I can full weld everything in once I get this set up. All right, so we'll let that cool down. As you can see, I put in some pretty massive beads around the one side, around the other side where the T-bolt is, and then down the whole side of the one bracket. So that'll hold everything into place, let it cool down, and then I don't know, maybe tomorrow we'll finish this rack up. It's taken all day to do this, but I've never done it, so I don't know. And it's nothing like the instructions say to do it, because the instructions are just like, hey, get it in place, then reverse engineer it and weld the tabs in. Okay, well, catch you in the AM. Good morning, guys. So this morning I pulled out the steering column. And what I'm doing is I'm marking for the set screws. So I'm going to actually just drill into it so I can set the screws in so that's permanent. Also, what I did was I marked right here, and I'm going to trim that up. That way it comes in a little bit in, just a little bit more, right? So it'll give me a better clearance on this guy on this side with my post. So I'm just going to drill that real quick, trim that down, and then I'm going to throw the column back in, and then we'll start working on trying to connect the dots to see if this whole idea will work. And yeah, so we'll be right back after. Like I said, I'm just going to drill a couple holes, and that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I did get this one in. Now this one is a 1" to 3/4 double D, and it's a double U joint. I'm not sure if this is gonna work overall. I'm gonna once I get this, because this is actually the same, the same distance in and out as this one. The only difference is that it needs to be, I guess, cleaned up a little. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna give this a whirl to see if it'll work. If it doesn't work, I'm just gonna stick with the original plan of using this one, and then I'll return this. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, guys, we got the rack back, or the steering column back in. I am not going to go with that double U joint. I put it on there, and I just don't like how it's working. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to run a double D, the double D rod as exactly as it sits. So it's 18 1/4 inches from the steering rack to the actual column. So I'm going to cut that, and this is the whole trial and error part. So I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to slide it in there and see if it'll work, I mean, why not? It'll either work or it won't. And regardless, if I have to do two pieces, I can, because I still have enough length to split this up into two with a heim joint. But I'm just going to give this a whirl and see how it goes. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's gonna. This can come down a little bit like that, and just like that. I think that's going to be a little tight. Let's see the bind. Yep. Yep. So that's it. So we do have a bind, so we're going to have to throw a secondary one in there. Let me get this out and then figure this part out. We'll be right back. All right, guys. So I kind of have a makeshift tie wrap thing going on here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, like that. And then I'll have to put one up here, and then maybe put a plate for a secondary one on this side. I'm thinking. But yeah, because I'm going to put a double D in here, and I know you have to support the rods or else it'll go like this, just like that. That's not what we want. So I put the double D up there. I kind of marked them roughly. I mean, if worse comes to worse, I'll just have to get another double D thing. So I'm going to pull this out, and then I'm going to trim this one, put the double D on it, and then I'm going to line it up to this guy, then trim this one, put the double, finish running it all, and then see if it spins without binding and it does the wobble. Then I know that when I put these little heim joints in, it'll straighten it all up. I kind of had to do the same thing with the 3100. I kind of had to do the same thing with 54 COE. So let me pull this out. And go from there. Okay guys, so I ran my double D down there, and that's not going to work. So it just binds too much. So I don't have any 3/4 square joint, but all I got is 3/4 round. So what I am doing is I am drilling out one of the 3/4 round, and these are slip fits and you're supposed to weld them. I'm just drilling it and tapping it to a set of these right here. And I'll tell you, this hardened steel is no joke trying to tap it out. So I'm just going to show you a little bit here what I'm doing, so you know it's not like, oh, magic. All I got here that's magic is my tap fluid. All right, here we go. All right, guys, I think I got this steering situated. So let me swap you around, and I'll show you what I had to get up to. Okay, so instead of the double D here, I just went with the round. And then I drilled, let me spin this. So I drilled and tapped these for, actually these are M8s by 1.25. And then I put in this brace right here with the heim joint. And then up here, right here, this bolt, I actually had to do a through bolt. So this is a 5/16. I will put a nylock on the end. So everything I'm going to be doing, there was a suggestion from someone to put nylocks on this stuff, like the brake pedal up here, which I plan on to. Right now, it's everything is on, off, on, off, on, off. So it's easier without the nylock than with it, right? Anyway, so the threads that came through here were jacked up. Like I tried to recut the threads, but without anything short of probably breaking the tap, I just set this one in, and then I just drilled it straight through, right? I already had the hole in this, so it was really easy just to right through with a 5/16. So now that's all locked in. This is all locked in. And then down there, let me move this down here. And that is all locked in. So let me kind of set you here, and I will show you how this all works when I turn the steering wheel. And yeah, it's awesome. So let me get up in the cab, and you'll see everything runs smooth as butter. So that's pretty darn good. So now basically I got to take all that off and finish bracing up the the manual steering rack in the back. Now that I know it's all right, since I had to move the rack over an inch, I will have to take about a ½ inch off the inner tie rod end on this side to bring the tire back in straight, because I had to move it all over and I'm already maxed out all the way in. So if I just take off about a ½ inch, I can bring it back in, but there's plenty of adjustments on both sides still, even if I do that. So it's no big deal. All right, guys, so it's all reinforced. I reinforced it, especially, let me flip it around. So it's all reinforced. And when I reinforced this side, I actually couldn't get to this bolt because I blocked it all off. So I had to do something different there. So it took me a minute, but it's all reinforced and painted up. Just like that. So now let me bring it down. All right. So there. And as you can see, all welded and painted. Looks pretty darn good. Well, with all the difficult stuff done, now we just have to go with all the other stuff to make all this work together, right? So again, that's going to be it this weekend. It's about to storm pretty hard. It's around 4 o'clock. So yeah, I appreciate everyone coming out here and taking a peek at seeing what I'm doing this weekend. And hey, go out and build something cool. One weekend at a time, guys. Catch you on the next one. Bye.